Hey you guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're doing another story time. Today I'm going to be telling the story of when I got suspended from school for a reason. Okay, so we're gonna go back a long time ago. Like, I wouldn't say a long time ago, yeah, but in 6th grade, like the very beginning of 6th grade, I wouldn't say it's the very beginning, but it was like in the month of September, and my birthday was in a couple of weeks. So, 6th grade, birthday's coming up. My life was pretty good, but still, 6th grade sucked for me. Um, I am very, very happy, and I'm very glad that I'm going to high school next year. And yeah, let's just get right into the story. So, basically what happened was when I was in 6th grade, I rode a bus. And I'm not going to say the bus driver's name. Let's just call her Miss Not Cool Lady. So, Miss Not Cool Lady was our bus driver, and she was my bus driver since 3rd grade. I've known her since 3rd grade. And we were actually kind of friends. Like, I mean, we talked on the bus a lot, we chatted, but yeah, and so me and my friend have known each other, and well, no, and we've been friends for a while. Like, the bus driver was really nice to me. She even let me sometimes she would give me candy on the bus because I was such a good boy. But yeah, she was really nice. But then she turned into Miss Not Cool Lady. I can't really remember what day it was, but I was heading home from school. I was getting on my bus one day on 6th grade, right? And so when I did that, I was riding home, and she was dropping all the kids off, doing her job. And then so I think halfway on the ride, me and my friend, forgot his name, but we're just gonna call him Damien. Now Damien and I were talking, and I can't remember what game we were talking about, but we were talking about a game, and we were joking around, and he said, "Oh yeah, well I have a knife," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, well I have a Glock." "Oh yeah, well I have a bodyguard," and then I'm like, "Yeah, well I have a bomb." And then when she turned around and looked at me, she said, "What did you say?" And then so I looked at her, and I was an honest boy. I was a good boy. I was a really nice boy. And so I told her the truth, and I said, "Well, I said I have a bomb." And then she was like, "Oh, okay." And then I thought it was all over. And so she delivered all the kids to their homes, and I was one of the last kids on the stop, so there wasn't like a lot of kids on the bus, but there was still enough to where it was really embarrassing. And when I was getting off the bus, I would walk down the aisle. I went up to the doors, and I got on the steps to the doors, and right when I stepped foot, she closed the doors on my face and says, "You're not going anywhere." And then and then I was like, "Okay, why?" And she said, "Go sit down." And so I go sit down back in my seat, and then my friend Damien is like, "Dude, what's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know." And then she says, "I'm calling the police." And then she calls the police and says, "I got a bomb threat on bus 214. And so, they're like, "Oh, really? Is it serious?" And she goes, "Yeah, he's threatening all the kids." And then so, at that point, I was like, "What? I never threatened anybody." And then I walk up to her and go, "No, I didn't threaten anybody." And then she goes, "Sit down. Let the professionals handle it from here." And then so I go sit back down, and everybody on the bus is like, kindergarten, like, ooh. And then after a while, like, I was just tired, and I wanted to go home, and my parents weren't home, and so and then we sat there for like a good 5 minutes, or not 5 minutes, like 2 or 3 minutes, and then the police showed up, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is really happening." And then she goes, "Yeah, he's back there." And then when I'm back there, the cops comes and like evacuates everybody off the bus, and then I get put in a cop's arms, right? And I'm like dragged out of the bus, and I'm told to put my hands behind my back. I didn't get cuffed until later. Like when we got off the bus, they put me in cuffs, and they told me to sit down on the car. And so they had to grab my backpack, and toss it off to the side. And then, like, the entire SWAT team comes and brings a canine. And once I see that canine, I start to cry. Like, I know this is, like, I thought this was going to be, like, a little, like, you shouldn't have done that. But no, they were going full precaution. This was serious. And so I start breaking down in tears because I'm scared I'm going to get arrested at 12. And the lady, and then the guard dog walks over and starts sniffing it, and then she goes, yeah, no. And then the dog like does a weird twirly thing, I don't know, and the cop said there's no bomb. And so yeah, no, duh, I'm a 12-year-old kid and I've known you for so long. Why would I just be like, hey everybody, I have a B word? And then like it was just it was a lot to take in. And so and then I got the good cop, bad cop thing. The cops came over to me. I was on the car, and first the good cop came, was like, "It's okay. Do you need any water? I know this is hard, but you just gotta stay with me." And then the bad cop comes over, is like, "Do you know what you just done? Do you understand how like dangerous you would something like? Do you understand how what? I can't speak today. Do you know how dangerous it could have been if you did have a bomb in that backpack?" But then I said, "No, I didn't. I would never do that." And he goes, "Well, then why'd you say it?" And he's like screaming at me at this point, and I say, "Because I was just joking around with my friend." And then this is where it gets juicy. He goes, "No, you weren't." And at that point, I was just like, "Okay, he's a liar. He's a literal liar." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, we'll tell that to the judge." And I'm like, "What? Tell to the judge?" And then the good cop comes over and is like, "Okay, we're gonna take you to the school. Are your parents?" Well, they asked me first, "Are your parents home?" And I said, "No, my mom was at work and my stepdad was doing something." And they're like, "Okay, we're gonna take you to the school." And then at that point, they call my mom, and she is very confused. And then when she got to the school, she quote unquote walked in and saw me shaking and grabbing a water bottle, and I was just beyond done. I couldn't, and it was just very scary, and I thought I was gonna get expelled. Thought I was gonna go to jail. But then my vice principal came in, and we're just gonna call him Mr. President, sure. And then Mr. President walked in and was like, yeah, so we know it wasn't on purpose, but we're just gonna send you home, and we'll just tell you all the details tomorrow." And so the next day, it was a Saturday, and then we go to school, and I am sitting down in a chair. My mom walks in and says, the vice principal wants to talk to us again." And so we sit there and wait, and he finally comes in, and he says, "Hey, I got what is going to happen to you." And when at that point I was like, "Happen to me? Am I gonna get the death penalty? What's gonna happen to me?" And he says, "Well, since you are a terrorist," and at that point he called me a terrorist, and I just started breaking down, bruh. I'm no terrorist. Like, I would never do such a thing. Like, the bus driver didn't get in any trouble, and my mom was, I will admit I was in the wrong. I should never have said I have a B word, but I'm saying, like, but she took it to the next level. Because she obviously knew I was joking around, and because if she didn't, she would be like, because bus drivers, I don't know if you knew this, but like at my school, bus drivers, like if there's a threat, she is supposed to get up and like go tackle and like go look inside the person's bag, or like she's supposed to like pull over and call the police, but like no, she literally was like, "What did you say?" And she was like, okay," and she waited a good 5 minutes. She was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna call the police now." So I knew she didn't. I knew she was I knew she like was not serious. Like she knew I didn't have a bomb in my backpack, and then so the vice principal comes in, and Mr. President, and he goes, "Well, since you caused a terroristic threat," and my mom was like, "My son is no terrorist. I don't know why this is happening. Like the bus driver should have gotten in trouble too," and he goes, "Well, we kind of we can't really have this behavior in our school," and so he said, he will have to go to a court, but the court was run by teens, and the teens usually gave you like community service and stuff, and so he sent me to a trial at court, and I'm like, I'm no criminal, really, a court, like an entire SWAT team coming to arrest me, like this is insane. And then so my mom is just very upset with the school, and I am very upset with myself in the school. And so the bus driver gets like a warning, I guess, because she obviously knew I didn't have a bomb in my bag. I know she knew, and Mrs. Not So Cool Lady was being not so cool, and I got suspended for 2 weeks from school. I was like, yeah, 2 weeks, that's not that bad. But then, of course, they extended it to like a month, and so in October, I was about I turned 13, and so I was a good boy. I didn't really have to do anything, it was kind of a vacation for me, because I mean, yeah, I still had to do chores, but still, like, that's their fault for extending it, and the court thing never happened. I never ended up going to court. I think they just did that to scare me. And while I was suspended, I actually had a lot of fun. My grandma's pool closed down, and so usually when her pool closes down, we all help out and just drain it. We had a lot of fun things. I had a lot of fun on Halloween with my friends and my family. And it was just overall a fun time. And then when I had to go back to school, I was everybody thought I died, honestly, because it was just out of nowhere, except for the people on the bus. They knew exactly what was happening. And so when I got back to school, they were like, okay, we interviewed all the kids, and they said that it was a joke and that you didn't really mean it. And at that point, I was like, mad respect to those people who, stood up for me. I was like, dude, it's a joke, chill out. But yeah, everybody got interviewed, and it was a joke, and yeah, it was a joke. And so I didn't really get in much more trouble after that. But I did have to go see the president of Blue Springs, Missouri, Blue Springs School District. And he deals with like bad kids, like kids that get into fights, kids that do drugs and vape all the time and get expelled. He's one of those people, and so for me to go visit him, it was like, dang, like that I've gotten myself into some serious stuff. And so I go see him with my mom, and we start to talk, and I get a warning from the person who's like, okay, well now there's going to be a on your, because we got school papers, and like it's our history of what has happened to us at school, like detentions, like suspensions, and on my file until I go to high school, on my school file, it's going to say domestic terrorism threat. And it's just, I don't really appreciate, being called a terrorist and all that, but I didn't even, it wasn't even terroristical intentions. I didn't even, pretty sure if somebody said they had a B word, they would whip out their backpack and, start a countdown or, flip a switch. But no, I just sat there like an innocent little baby and just, was like, and why would anybody, tell the truth about what they said? It's just, it blows my mind. And I go back to school. Everybody thinks I made up this story because I didn't want to everybody be like, you got suspended for being like, a terrorist. Yeah. So I made up a lie, and I said when I was at the playground, I fell and I cracked my skull open and blood went everywhere, and I had to go to the hospital, and yeah. And so everybody actually bought it except for my two friends because they kept my secret. But and yeah, I was very, 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 just put up with it. And everybody that was at my school, all my teachers knew, and they didn't do anything about it. I mean, they didn't really tell anybody, but my science teacher, we'll just call him Mr. Amphibian because he loved, frogs and stuff. But he would always say, like, I know what you did. It's okay. I won't tell anybody. We're cool, man. And he was very cool. I liked my 7th grade science teacher. He was awesome. And we talked a lot. And so when I was and then I got into like an organization thing, because in school I was, I'm not a smart kid. Like, your parents always tell you you're super smart. Trust me, you just don't know it yet. But, like, I am not really a smart kid. Like, yeah, I can solve 5 plus 5. It's obviously 6. And so, yeah, I'm a big boy. And so, I wasn't really the smartest kid, and I had a terrible organization. I have a terrible organization. I'm just like... and 6th grade was a very bad year for me because I got really bad grades, but I'm doing a lot better now. Like, I got A's and B's and C's on all my grades right now. I've been homeschooling. I loved it a lot. And so let's just get back on track. So when I went to my school again, I wasn't allowed to ride the bus for a certain amount of time. When I got back to school, I was suspended off the bus for like another 2 weeks. And then in that time, I had to either walk home or get picked up. But finally, when I got back on the bus, like, it was about time, I got back on the bus. I was with my friends, like, yeah, man, I'm ready. It was like watching, going back to, something you really miss and you love to do. And not to sound corny or anything, but, like, I finally got back to my seat, sort of. Because when I got on the bus, Mrs. Not So Cool Lady, like, pulled my shirt and it, like, threw me into a seat and said, "You sit down and you don't make a noise." And I sat right behind her in a little small chair. I felt like, I was very special. And and it really was just... And I was like, what? Why do I have to sit here? And she goes, you know why. Oh, because you couldn't, take kind of a little, like, you're just so serious and you're so bored and you have nothing else to do, so you just, call the cops on a kid who literally knows nothing better to do, and, talking to his friend about a video game. And I had to sit there for, like, another 2 or 3 weeks until finally I had enough of it. And my parents had enough of it too. They were like, they hated the bus driver. My bus driver got hated by my parents a lot. And after that, after I got done sitting in the special boy seat, I snuck on the bus and I moved to the very back with my friends, and they didn't snitch on me. And then, my teacher, said, I stood up and I knew my teacher saw me because she turned around and, looked at me. But then she just shrugged her shoulders and just, didn't care. And so, yeah, I got to sit back there again. And I was very happy. But yeah, and still, just like, it was just so dumb. I don't like being called a terrorist. It makes me feel like I killed somebody or I did something, and like, I know I shouldn't have been joking about bombs. Like, that's my fault. I should not have been doing that. But she can, she has a bus full of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders who are super immature. Like, I mean, you gotta expect something like that one time. And so, I was very upset with her, and Mrs. Kool-Aid was just not a cool lady. And after it, when I was in 7th grade, I actually still rode that bus, but we never talked, and she never, really acknowledged me. Till one day, I was actually talking to my friend about like the same situation, and I was like, "Hey man, I got this new thing on it, and it was a car in GTA. It was like it's like some sort of tank. I don't play GTA anymore, but it was some sort of tank, and it had like a special ability where you could turn it around and shoot plasma cannons and bombs at people. And so it was like, yeah, I can shoot. And so I said, yeah, I can shoot bombs and plasma. And when I said bomb, I was like, bomb. And then the teacher turned around and said, I'm gonna pretend I did not hear what I just heard. And I said, no, it's not really. I didn't say anything. And then my friend was like, ooh, he's in trouble. I'm like, shut up, dude. And so that was a close call. And and this was all before COVID happened, so I am very lucky that I'm very unlucky that that happened to me, and I hope it never happens to any of you. So I'm just gonna say this once and just don't joke about that stuff just in general. It's not really like after a certain event on September 11th 2001, everything's ever since everything's just been super sensitive and very bad, and I should never have made that joke even if my bus driver wasn't a total idiot. And it's just very sad, like we live in a time where we have to worry about if we say a certain word. Like, it's just so, I wish that we could go back to when everything was normal before COVID happened and all this. And it's just been very rough for me and rough for a lot of more people, and I can't even imagine what other people are going through, and it's just awful. And I really hope that none of you guys have to go through what I went through. It was just very stupid. Like, I never forgave my teacher for that, and she was always like, you said you had a bomb, but shut up. It really hurt my feelings, and I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. And it was a very intense situation for me, and I hope you guys never have to get the cops called on you. It's very scary, and just it sucks altogether. Just never do anything that's bad, or never obey the law. I am very just. The funny part is when I went to go, because I thought when I was gonna go to court, and I thought they were gonna give me a community service. I thought it was only for an hour, but no, they were gonna get I looked it up, and they for a terroristic threat, it's a month of community service. It is insane. So if I would have went to court, I would have gotten at least a month and a half of community service. And so I hope that you guys never, ever, ever, ever go through what I went through. It's so scary too. Like, the canine, I thought I was about to get chased down and bit my booty off by that thing. The thing was huge, and the teeth on that thing were massive, and it was lunging out at people, and looked like it was ready to kill somebody. And it's just dude, she just overreacted so much. She acted like I was literally about to kill everybody on the bus. And so I really just don't like my bus driver anymore. We used to be friends, but not anymore. Not anymore. She's not my friend anymore. She played with Jonathan. She's not my friend anymore. I'm just kidding, but yeah, it is just very stupid, and I appreciate your time. And if you made it, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, leave a like and subscribe if you want to for content and stupidness. I'll probably make another story, but bye.